computer. Hi, everybody. We're 15 minutes.
Hey!
It's the Recruiting Animal Show! Wow! Hey, we were just practicing for the last 15 minutes because I forgot to record it. What's the date today? It's January 20th, 2021, Inauguration Day, and our good friend, Aaron Lintz, Lintz, Z in the United States, he's passing up the opportunity to watch Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, live give his speech. He's come here to the Recruiting Animal Show instead. We've got another newcomer, Srini. I think maybe are you in India or in the United States? Where are you, Srini?
I'm based out of Bangalore, India.
Hey, it's like I think Gautam Ghosh is there, and Michael G. Cox, whom everybody I hope knows already. Okay, we've been talking about all kinds of boring stuff for the last 15 minutes, okay? But now the show's
Ready to
really
get it
going to
started.
start. The show's going to start, but I just have to tell you one thing you didn't know, that Aaron Lintz, who everybody thinks is one of the greatest sorcerers in the world, it's true. He suffers.
I don't know the guy, but I know.
Okay. He suffers from imposter system, just like you. Okay. Syndrome. That's what I said.
No.
He suffers from imposter syndrome. He's got this big reputation, and he's always saying, am I going to be able to live up to it? Am I going to be able to do it?
That's totally normal, dude.
There we go. Are you shaking your head now? You're denying it?
Yeah, no, I agree, and this is where like you do the cut scenes like Rocky, and I learn how to like punch meat and run upstairs, and that's how you get good. You fail, like you said. In our previous conversation, in past life, you said you fail, and Michael said it, and you hopefully get a little bit better each time.
Yeah. Okay.
Fail a little bit less every time.
Yeah, great. Okay. What else do we say? Okay, he's a super sorcerer.
I would say fail faster.
Okay, fail. Well, that's it. Okay. I told him also, here's something else you missed. I said, you know what? One of my great grandfathers, his name was Aaron. I said, is that a good rapport builder if I talk to you for the first time in history? And he said, yeah, that's good. So he's saying, just like everybody else says,
it shows that you've got a pulse at least, you know.
Pick. Go ahead.
Or it either shows that you're at least trying a little, or that you're actually targeting every Aaron on LinkedIn.
My great grandfather, it was spelled Aron, only one A. Okay, he didn't live in North America. What else was I going to say? Oh, there's one other thing that I think is worth mentioning, and you guys are so lucky you didn't have to slog through it like I did to get this information. But Aaron, he is a super sorcerer, and he doesn't have to call anybody. He doesn't have to contact anybody. And I asked him, how does that happen? How do you get to do that? And he says, I just tell them, I am going to give you tons of great candidates as leads. I said, I'm not the best contact person. I'll give your good contactors, your good networkers, I'll give them the information. Otherwise, I don't want to work with you. Okay. And it works for him. And I'll tell you something else. That's how Shally worked at Microsoft when he was a top sorcerer there. He divided his team into people like Aaron and what he called networkers. I just used that term. People who are good on the phone, who like to talk about their grandparents and their dogs and their hobbies or whatever it was to pretend that they're friendly with these strangers they have to call. Okay?
Hey, you know what? That probably doesn't work in 99 other situations, but it does in his. And he's had to get to the point where he provides such great value. People are like, well, that's fine. You don't have to pick up the phone. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and it's funny. But Michael G. Cox, it's funny. He's actually probably one of the only sorcerers who's got actual sales experience. You were selling HR tech, right?
I was selling frozen meat. I was refinancing mortgages in the early 90s when it was like 16, 18%. I was hustling, like 7 day a week on the phone, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. I was burnt. Some people reach that point, and you either be, I could keep bouncing from job to job, or I could figure out what I was really good at and what I enjoyed was the hunt, not necessarily the, reeling him
kill. The hunt, not to kill. Okay. I just want to introduce Srini. He's in Bangalore. I don't know. It's the middle of the night there, or
Wait,
maybe
is
first thing
is
in
your
the
name
morning.
actually Srini, or is he just reading that off? What's going on?
No, it is. Yeah, you can call me, refer to me as Srini.
Srini.
Srini. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Srini.
So yeah, in fact, Michael, it's really curious to know that like you come from a sales background, and I believe
No, that was Aaron.
Okay, Aaron. Okay, yeah. Hi, Aaron. Yeah. I believe people who come from a sales background, actually, even if they are, in fact, strangers to recruitment, they would do much better as a recruiter, as a phone caller, because
Yeah, but he's not
they
a
would,
phone caller. Okay,
yeah.
didn't you hear? He doesn't like phone calling.
He
He
No,
leaves
hates
people
sales.
behind.
Absolutely, I do understand. In fact, there's nobody who is into sourcing who doesn't know about Aaron. So in fact,
Okay.
he is a legend in his
Yeah,
own right.
you called him
But having,
Michael. Okay, you called him Michael, but you know about him. Okay.
yes,
He's
Okay.
a legend I'm a legend in my own mind.
Okay, you know what? Since we talk so much about email finders and contact information finders, which luckily everybody I didn't record. Okay, you don't have to go through that one. But I'm going to do an ad. No, well, not one person mentioned Hire Tool, HIRETUAL.com. It's a super sourcing tool. Every
yes.
single great recruiter, maybe not every single one. I don't know about these guys here, but lots of them. On Facebook, when people ask what sourcing tool should I get, they always talk about Hire Tool.
Actual seek out. Yeah, these are the top two. Humantic as well. Yeah.
Okay.
knows his
So,
stuff.
okay. You know what? The guy had a need, a compulsion to mention the competition to my sponsor, but that's okay with me. You know why? Because there's always other good tools out there, but Hire Tool. That's
Nobody's
one
buying
that
RC
everybody
Cola.
mentions.
Buying Coke. And
What?
nobody's buying RC Cola. They got RC Cola up north?
Do they still exist? We used to have it here, but that's not what the
Royal,
show's
remember
about.
Royal Cola?
That's it. Royal Crown. Royal Crown
Royal
Cola.
Cola.
You buy the Hire Tool.
No,
the,
we never had that.
new
Okay,
Okay,
brand.
but Animal, I still drink Crown Royal. Is that what you were talking about?
we have that. That's
From
what,
in the purple
okay.
bag you're talking about?
Okay.
That's
Okay. True or false? You know what? I never read. I have to admit, I never read SourceCon. Okay, but I did today because of this guy. went through a bunch of articles, and now I know that I should be reading it. So everybody, you read SourceCon, but I got a lot of questions there that I'm going to ask him if he believes. True or false? Cold emails don't work anymore. Article by Marvin Smith about a guy named Marvin Brooks.
Doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Did I ask you, Srini? I asked the guest first, okay?
Sorry.
Well, I mean, again, I'm not going to do I guess I'm going to do the sports one. You miss every, thing you don't swing at. So.
Oh, I hate that.
I know it's cheesy, but Yogi Berra just died, and you get you got to try it. I think
Yogi Berra died, what, 3 years ago? Is that just for you?
Maybe I don't know. I just saw the other day that he passed. Maybe I'm really late to the party.
Maybe there's something wrong with your computer. Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm not clear, Aaron. Okay, I'm not clear. This is like a training session for the next time you come on, if you ever come on again. I was shocked. The guy said he's willing to come on. I have to tell you, I didn't think he.
Marvin's brilliant. I would never undercut him.
Oh, sorry, I mentioned his name. Okay, but he didn't say it. The guy he was interviewing said it.
Oh.
Do you believe? I want a yes or no answer. We like some clarity. Do cold emails work? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Srini says no. Am I right about that? Is that your vote, Srini? Now's your
Yes,
chance.
I did say. Yeah, I
Why
did
not?
say that, yeah.
Okay.
I believe we need to personalize the emails as much as possible.
Yeah, that's still a cold email, though.
So maybe he doesn't. English is his second language. Am I racist for saying that? No. Okay.
No.
A cold email. Tell him what a cold email is. Okay.
It's a cold email out of the blue. It's to somebody that you've never spoken to before.
Yeah. Okay. Now that's a good question, Srini. Lots of these people say you have to take 20 minutes to look for the guys, the candidates. You don't just send it. Well, Aaron's got an answer that I'm surprised.
My grandfather was named Aaron, but it was with just one A.
I mean, like I said, you find an icebreaker, make it some coincidence, something about the weather, a sports team, learn.
That might work, yeah. I mean,
if I'm going to talk to people in India and I'm going to find out what if they're into cricket, if learn something about the type of people you're talking to, and then try to sound authentic.
Really? I mean, you're going to learn something about cricket, or you're going to say, I like to go to the Bombay Palace for Indian buffet every day? I mean, is that what?
I just want to know why they don't wear gloves. I don't get it. It's like, why are you trying to?
So somebody in India is getting this email from Aaron Lintz, who he's never heard about before. Okay, and he's saying, "Look, can you answer a question for me? How come they don't wear gloves in cricket?" He's going to think you're nuts. He's going, "Who's this?"
Okay.
And then what's the next thing? What's the next thing?
Thinking.
What's the next thing in the email? Hey, and by the way, I'm a recruiter, and I want to know if you're interested in it. Yeah.
I mean that's who am I?
Well, you guys are talking on the candidate side.
Yeah. Well,
side,
okay.
I just
but you don't do any email contact either, do you?
No, I do. I mean, I do email and
He misled me. Okay, I thought you did no candidate contact. Okay, that's what I thought you were telling me.
I mean, we try to scale it. So, I mean, in this current position, we created a sourcing center of excellence, and we have people that are literally just doing sourcing for the whole globe, for every region in the world.
Okay.
So we've taken that efficiency model, like you said. It's if it's an assembly line, you can have two pieces, or you can really refine it and say this person is going to do the identification, and then instead of having one person do it, let's do it as a team, and then let's structure it where certain people are doing follow-up messages because they're better. We want to get somebody senior to send the follow-up message.
Srini seems to think that he's a personalization expert. I'm going to come to him, but I want to just another quote. It says, the big tech companies, like the FANG, Amazon, Google, all these big companies, they have armies of talent sourcers and recruiters sub-segmenting. They're dividing the marketplace of candidates into subsegments, and they're conducting very specialized outreach. Listen to this. They carry only a handful of requisitions, and they're building relationships with their target talent audiences. If you're competing for the same talent and you use a generic email, you don't stand a chance, okay? And so that sounds like you do have to spend 20 minutes researching everybody before you get in touch with them. Srini, over to you. How do you personalize? And look, don't just babble on. Get to the point, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It depends on the time that we have. Like if the recruiter has enough time on hand, so there's every possible opportunity for the recruiter to actually personalize, get to know more about the individual or the target audience, and then kind of bring that flavor into the email. If that's not a choice, then probably some kind of, in fact,
look,
mediocre
don't miss
personalization.
Okay, maybe you can't follow the instructions. I said, get to the point. I want to know what you do. Do you spend 20 minutes researching what kind of food the person likes?
I wouldn't spend.
How much time do you spend? How much time do you spend? Why do I have to shout, Aaron? How come?
I would spend about 5 to 8 minutes on each person. So I would get as much information as possible, and I would actually maintain a template of sorts. Like I would maintain about 8 to 10 templates, and then whatever I do find about a particular individual, I just add on to it, and then I do a mail merge.
Okay, so 8 minutes per candidate to send an email. Is that what you said? And Michael G. Cox, he couldn't control himself. He groaned like someone punched him in the stomach.
It's a lot, man. Okay, so rather than caring about cricket, no offense, or football or anything else
or Cheetos, super hot Cheetos,
or my grandfather was Aaron with the 1A.
Yeah.
Why not focus on what they're doing? Like, okay, so I guess this is where the niche actually comes into play. Is I'm a sales recruiter. I cover certain sectors. And if I'm reaching out to a candidate, I'm going to say, hey, I'm a sales recruiter and I cover your sector and geography. I think it would make sense for us to connect. Or I'm working on an opportunity and I'll put in like all caps that I think might make sense for you. Not sure. Check out this video. And then they get it, and they respond like, "Oh man, sweet.
I
No,
think
doesn't make sense. I'm looking for something like this." Or
What's in the video? What's in the
the
video? You
salespeople,
or the hiring manager? What's in the
salespeople
video?
me.
salespeople want to talk. Salespeople
What?
are easy to talk to. Like,
Yeah.
offense. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
different. I mean, and that's like you said, it's a niche, right? You can. There was somebody on. I saw a call yesterday, and she said she was been working in the same industry for 30 years, and I'm like, no offense, but I would have buried myself if that was.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not wired that way. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna,
And not everybody is, but check this out. I've done the exact same approach because, hey man, last year was rough. So I was working a role that was an engineering role. I was working sales roles, but I was also working CFO, and use the same approach. Say, hey, I'm a recruiter. I'm currently working on something that is in your space. I'm not talking about their dog, or I see that you attended this because I'm a freaking creep and I was looking at your Facebook page. This is the opportunity I'm working on. Check out this video where I explain more about the opportunity. Let me know if you're interested. And I'm impressed even with my second favorite, or how many of my second favorite answers I get, which is no. But they respond and say, no, not interested. Really like the approach. This is, if you come across something like this. So it kind of keeps that door open. But I'm talking about what they're doing. And then on the business development side, I'm not talking about, hey, Mr. CRO, Chief Revenue Officer, I see that you live in Austin and I live in San Antonio. It doesn't matter to me or to
We're
them.
fellow Texans. You want to give me your business because I live in the same state as you.
That's
Look
right.
at
I'm
you
wearing
go-
my boots.
Let's
And-
go back.
and-
Let's go back to these two guys.
More to the point, I think it's the efficiency of it, right? Like, you're getting X, how many outreaches you can do in a day and how many follow-ups you can do in a day. It scales, right?
But no, Aaron, hold on.
But not only that, it's highly personalized to what they do, not really who they are.
I want to go to Aaron. I want to ask Aaron something. But Aaron, if he thinks, okay, if the quality, if you're getting a bigger response, the time invested is worthwhile, right? If you spend like 8 minutes, if you spend 8 minutes on every email, but that kicks your response rate up to 75% from 20%, that's going to be a worthwhile investment, right?
What's the pool, right? Like Michael was saying.
This really works out if
there's only
we're working on leadership
How about
roles.
giving the guest a chance to talk? You can be a guest if you want sometime, okay? Just
there's
let him
only
finish. I'll give you a
Come on,
chance.
Srini.
If there's 100 available people, then yes, take your time, personalize it, take that extra 5 minutes. If there's 10,000 available people and it's a speed thing, then it's not about.
Okay. That's the Glenn's answer as well. He said, I don't have to talk to everybody. I just have to get enough people. Okay, that's his answer. Srini, now's your chance. But I just want to let you know, Aaron is the guest today. Okay, we're not giving him that much time to talk, but
No,
we
in
want to
fact,
hear from you. We want to hear from you too. Let's hear India talking here.
Sure. In fact, the video was lagging a bit, so in fact, I was behind on the video.
Oh yeah, good excuse. He's not rude, everybody. He's so polite. The video caused the problem.
It's the technology that's rude.
Okay, go ahead. We're all quiet. We're waiting for you.
Yeah, in fact, spending 8 minutes, especially on a leadership role, can really help us to do that personalization and get them actually respond back to us. In fact, as you said, like, we could actually, if not 70%, we could at least look at something like 50 to 60%, which would actually help us a lot. And a week before, I actually closed a senior leadership role with Wells Fargo. This is actually for the head of wholesale banking data analytics. So he's at a very higher level, which is more than a senior VP.
Good. You know what? I want to teach you something, Srini, before we move on. Okay, look at the other three of us. We've got all these phony backgrounds, and they look much better than your room is not that. Your room's not that exciting with the fluorescent light and the dull. So, next time you come on Zoom, you should realize. Oh, what Aaron? He got mad and he left. Oh, there he is.
No, I forgot how to turn the background off.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, okay. So it's a good idea. You can use your own pictures, or they supply you with these bland pictures. It's a good idea. I'm just telling you for the
Hey, man, you
future.
got a nice background anyway, man,
I
Aaron.
like it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little. It's
I've got my kids drawing on the walls right
Yeah,
here.
okay. Okay, let me do an ad if you guys are going to
Online.
talk about your stinking rooms, okay? Hey, everybody, staffingdebt.com. This is something that Aaron doesn't have to worry about. If you're an agency recruiter, there's going to be people trying to cheat you, okay? You'll send out a candidate and they'll say, oh, no, no, we're not interested. Then they'll call them themselves and say, yeah, sure, come on in on Monday, okay? You have to get the money out of those people. And staffingdebt.com is going to do that for you. Wilson Cole's been a guest on this show. That's all they do. That's all they do. They work for recruiting firms going after those cheating so-and-sos. And he claims, oh, they don't all do it deliberately, but we know they do. And he's also got a software called backdoorhires.com, which he claims reveals which of your candidates have been stolen. Okay, so staffingdebt.com. Please think about that. I've got 2 more ads to do. Honeit, Honeit, and pcrecruiter.net. I'll get to them very soon. You know, Aaron, I've got tons of questions. I didn't think, we'd be spending that much time on these things, but I said to you, I said, is there something that you think that you should be talking to recruiters about that you would want to impress on them? Did you bring something that you want to talk about?
Did I bring something I wanted to talk about?
Do you want to plug anything? Do you want to plug
Oh,
anything?
yeah. So you mentioned on the non-recorded side of this that my old link doesn't work, and so you reminded me we need to update it. But sourcingskills.com is, you can find the only training that I offer at the moment that is available for a European fee. I've got some friends and we've partnered to offer a sourcing specific training about conference apps. So I put some stuff together.
Okay, that's a big deal for you. I mean, I read the article. I didn't understand anything.
I had to figure out, all the wheels have been invented, and the one thing that I figured out was that there's all these apps, right now everybody's doing virtual conferences, and it's super, not gonna say it's easy, but this is the blueprint to each of the ways to get all the lists of attendees.
Through the app.
Yeah,
Okay.
you log into the app, you sign in, and then you can see everybody in the event, but you could copy and paste it, or if it's on your phone, what are you going to do? You're going to click on each one, or you could just download
How much?
the whole damn thing.
How much? How much gallon?
I think it's not in pesos, it's in euros, which is similar. It's not to Cheerios. It's 500, but ping me and I will tell you more.
500 euros. That's more than $500, isn't it?
I believe so. I believe they use I think they're
okay.
Different
hey, everybody.
than
So where do they go? Where do they go to check that out? Give me that again.
Sourcingskills.com.
Okay, and if you're not dumb like me, okay, you can actually go to SourceCon. He's got a detailed article about it there, and maybe you've got enough background knowledge so you'll understand. But if you don't have the background knowledge, if someone is not a professional sourcer, can they take that course and learn how to do it?
I would recommend they don't. To be honest, it's like, it's for that one person, and this is why I'm losing money. This is why I break even with my hosting fees, because I don't want people to take it and be pissed at me. Not that that's a problem, but it's for people who actually want to expand and understand how the technology actually works. You're going to have to, you don't have to be a software programmer, but you're actually going to have to get your hands dirty and look at code.
Okay.
If that sounds like something that would make you run and hide, it's not for you.
Stay away. It's not for you.
I mean,
you only want the cream. It's just for the cream. It's not for people like me. Okay. Okay. Let me go on. Glenn. Okay. Picture this. Okay. This is again from SourceCon. Picture this, Aaron. You're a new sourcer, and your supervisor asks you to work on some development roles, C#, Python, etc. So you're new. You don't know anything about them. What should that person do? Can you just, you don't have to, but can you reel off what some ignoramus who's not qualified to take your course should do?
Understand what the tech is, like to understand what C# is. I would go to Google and type C#, and I would try to go to Wikipedia and understand how long it's been around.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a Microsoft-based tech.
Yeah.
That it typically Microsoft has their locked-in architecture. So you're going to find there are Microsoft houses and there are non-Microsoft houses, and then that literally gives you a lot of information to start with. Python is going to be a fairly new language. Again, if you just looked at Wikipedia and compared to
Okay,
C#.
so let's take a real life example. Michael G. Cox here left his big corporate job. Okay, he was a big shot. Okay, just like you, and he left his job just. I can't help but laugh every time. Just before COVID hit, right? He went into his own business, and so there he is. I never knew until today. I never knew that he was so desperate. He was taking the jobs outside his specialty, right? So do you believe, Michael G. Cox, that if someone, someone said, hey, I'm going to throw you a bone. I need 3 C# developers by, in the next 2 weeks. Would you have taken on that position, Michael G. Cox?
Last year, probably. Yeah. I mean, but
do you know anything about C# or what do you think about what?
I've recruited for C# type positions back when I was still inside of Xerox, but no, man, I don't know a damn thing about that.
Okay, well, let's pass on that. Srini, do you have a question for Aaron, or Mike? Do you have a question for Aaron? Anybody got a question? Do you have any questions for him? No?
No, I would like to just comment on what you just said. So I would look up, apart from Google, I would also look at Glossary Tech as well as
what, Glossary Tech? Glossary
Yeah.
Tech? Okay.
Absolutely. Glossary Tech as well as Techopedia.
Echo? Like
Techopedia.
Techopedia.
Tech.
That's really good.
Okay.
Techopedia. As well as Google. So because
now are those is that information going to give a newcomer enough of an understanding to have a checklist of questions to screen the candidates once he gets in touch with them?
Absolutely, because Glossary Tech is great.
Yeah.
Like a 2-sentence understanding of everything. They have a Chrome extension that'll like show you while you're on LinkedIn what this essentially means. So color coded really is.
Okay, your friends, Aaron, I'm not going to talk about the quality of people you're hanging around with, but your friends, Glenn Gutmacher and Susie Tonini, who was on the show like 11 years ago, they wrote an article about what a sourcer can do, right? A sourcer can find tickets to sold out concerts. Have you ever done that?
No.
Okay, a sourcer can do stock market research to identify profitable opportunities. Have you ever done that? Use your sourcing skills to make money on the market? What?
Yeah. I mean, not. So my father was a broker, and he went broke as a broker. So I only gamble on sure things.
Okay. Does that mean it's a successful thing? Like if you're a broker?
Well, yeah. So back in, I'll date myself. It was. Back in the savings and loan era, he was disbarred. So we went from well off to being the poorest people in my neighborhood. So, not really something you want to.
Sounds like me in 2020.
Why didn't you ask? He should have asked Trump for a pardon. It's too late now.
Well, he's deceased, so
sorry.
But he did go to other countries to rob people in countries that didn't have extradition, which is probably Trump's next move.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, they also say that you can find rare parts for cars or bicycles if you're a sourcer. Do you think you could do that?
If you're a sourcer that is in need of work, then yeah, I would imagine that's something you could spend your time on.
Okay.
I mean, it's a research skill. So all these things, if you can research, then it's just applied skill.
Okay. Are you familiar with the software? I should have mentioned it earlier. Bouncer?
No.
No? What about Lemlist?
Lemlist, yeah. Good tool.
What is it?
It's it's an email system that lets you customize images. So if you wanted to send a custom image that said, hey, first name, it'll take that image and basically turn it into like a meme, like a layover of the image so that it looks really unique.
Okay, but I read somewhere else, just Srini, just so you know, everybody else on the show except Aaron, if you get tired and you want to sign off, don't worry, okay? Or you want to go get a drink or something or go to the washroom, it's not a problem with us, okay? So you don't have to be too polite. I just want to make that clear, okay? Once you're on, you're still your own man. You're not tied to any kind of
No,
thing. But
absolutely.
what about
I'm enjoying this.
Okay, what about with the email? I read as well that if you put images in it, that's a good chance it's going to get filtered out and it won't get to the source. What about that, Aaron? You aware of
That's a
that?
good point. I mean, you normally, if you're talking about, cold lists, um, there's things you can do to warm up a domain, to set up the right DKIM, to make
You
sure
gotta
you get the list
season your email account.
right. You can there's that's how again, if you're gonna fire up a non-spam email campaign, you're gonna want to do it the right way. But yeah, images can get blocked. However, by default, most tools now scan the images, and it's actually, if you limit it to one image, you're probably not doing bad, because most people send an image in the footer of their, like, under their signature these days. So
Okay.
they
So
do
you're
get
saying
delivered.
that's not a real concern, the images.
It's
What
not
about
a,
videos? What about videos like Michael G. Cox uses? Is he
well,
storing them?
you don't send a video in an email. It's a static
You
image. You
can.
click on it.
No, mine, when it goes through an email, basically what I use is Loom, and when I insert that into yeah, it's just the link, but it also creates a GIF, and I've never had issues with deliver or inboxing, basically.
Okay. Okay, so do you do anything specifically for diverse candidates? Are you diversity?
Yeah, I mean, the company I work for, we really dedicated to it. It's not easy. It requires
Yeah, but what is involved? Does somebody, because we don't usually do that here. Like I'm in another country, everybody. So do they say, look, Mike, I mean, Aaron, do you, we want 50% of the candidates presented on this search to be from some diverse group? Okay, is that what happens?
we can't. No, I mean, so we can have goals, and
What's
we
a
can
goal?
work. The
What's a
goal
goal?
is a line in the sand, and sand can change.
First of all, or could you get, is this a topic we shouldn't
That was
discuss
deep.
No, I
you
mean,
were,
it's something that people have to appreciate, because it's a tap dance, right? You can say, I want to hire a diverse candidate, but that means you have to still, if you're employing them direct, in the United States, and you're, more than 50 employees, most likely, then you're going to have to hire the most qualified person for the job, no matter who they are. So you've got to make sure that you're doing it the right way. I mean, it requires tact.
yeah, I don't understand what you're saying, and maybe that's good. Okay, but I do see, I do see people saying, look, if you want a more diverse team, you got to get rid of the educational requirements. You got to do all kinds of things like that. So that sort of contradicts what you just said. Hire the most qualified. That's not it. You can't
Well, that's the
necessarily.
thing. That's why we source, right? So I'm going to identify, the 10 people that I think should be outreached, and based on that 10, I can make certain that I start my search with diverse people, so that the slate of talent that I present is
Okay.
is
Okay, now I understand. Srini, is diversity an issue in India as well? You've got the different castes and things there.
Yeah, basically, many organizations believe, or they at least look at it that way. Hiring women employees, they look at it as diversity is done, because people don't look at it from the in the way of, like, looking at it in the right sense, right? Getting people with diverse minds, with people with different ideas. which
Okay,
is
that's
actually
cognitive.
going
We
to.
call that cognitive diversity. We're talking right now about demographic diversity. Okay, someone
Okay,
who
yeah.
belongs to a different social group
Yes,
than you.
yeah. If we talk about geographic diversities, like people coming from different geographic
I wasn't
areas.
talking about geographic. I just told you what I was talking about. Demographic. Let's move on. Hey, I'm going to do an ad for PC Recruiter, pcrecruiter.net. If you want recruiting software that's good for every
Configurable.
Yeah, there you go. They don't impose, it's recruiting software, but they don't impose any kind of workflow on you. You get to configure it. That means customize it to suit yourself. And if a word, a Latinate word like configurable kind of makes me feel icky, I don't think I can do it. I just call them, they're happy to help you. And it doesn't matter if you're a kitchen table recruiter in an office that looks like Srini's, or if you're in a big company like Aaron here, who's got the American flags behind him. They're happy to help you, big or small. They help them all. And PCRecruiter.net, okay? And Martin Snyder, he's all over the Facebook groups. He likes to talk, so feel free to contact him if you want. What's the time? We got maybe 10 minutes left, or are you tired? Can you handle a little more, Aaron?
I can handle the truth.
Okay. You know what? I don't know if you want to talk about this, but you've had a lot of stress with your family health situation. I'm wondering how you manage to do a good job when you've got those kind of problems at home. Do you want to talk about that or move on?
Why not? Open book. Sobriety is not as much fun as I thought it would be, but just kidding. Yeah,
Hey, everybody, he was joking, okay? That's not what I was talking about.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, no, my daughter had needed emergency surgery and needed to be flown out, and so several people in the community helped out. It was amazing, and yeah, reminding that even if we're competing, we're still humans, and again, reminding that it's actually a solid community of people here. So
okay, that's not what I was talking. I was talking about how psychologically you could.
Psychologically,
I saw her pictures. A beautiful little girl.
That's
Okay,
why I'm talking about it's the same as the sobriety or anything else. It's one day at a time, one foot in front of the other. It's just you do it until as long as you can. And if you're a parent, it's all you can do, right? It's they come first.
Yeah, well, I tend to freak out, so I don't. I just was. That's why I wondered. No, I mean, I wonder. Like, I wouldn't want to do my job. I'd be worried about the kid. Okay.
Yeah, that's rough.
You got to do it.
Do you ever browse incognito? Do you browse incognito?
I mean, if I do, I'm going to do more than just browse incognito. I'm probably going to use a VPN. I'm probably going to change my DNS. I might reboot the computer to make sure that the MAC address is different. I mean, when you talk about going incognito, if it's just for the sake of getting different results on Google, you can do that. If it's you actually want to do something like potentially hack somebody's list of from a competitor, then you might go a different route.
Okay, so hold on. So you have to get a virtual. So a sourcer is you. Lots of sources are using virtual private networks.
Can we please just pay for a service?
Like what? Give it a throw one out there.
Private internet access is the one I've been using for 100 years.
How much does it cost?
$6 a month.
And what does it do for you?
You could change the location of where you're at, but it changes the access that you have. So you can basically hide where you're coming from, and also just make sure that your traffic is encrypted.
Okay, well, why is that significant to hide where you're coming from?
Because cookies on the internet make everything impossible. I mean, one of the things I was going to show, if you actually want to, go to linkedin.com, LITMS/API/metadata/user. I could share it if you
show us if you want. You can share your screen.
So this is a wonderful example of how, what screen am I sharing? Are you seeing this just a bunch of code crap?
Yeah, it means nothing to me.
So This is LinkedIn tracking you, whether or not you're actually logged in. So is person used in false? Every single time you log in and forget to log out, they keep your data and they track every website that you visit. So these are all of the things that you can be opted out of, but they don't necessarily tell you or even give you the option to. They actually track whether you're on a mobile device or a computer.
So what's wrong with that? Why would you be concerned about that?
What business is it of theirs?
Yeah, but what could they do to hurt you or to limit your
Well,
access?
I'm sure you've seen and heard people saying, oh, I've been put in timeout by LinkedIn. I've
Yeah.
been locked out. This is how they do it. This is how they know what extensions you're using, what websites you're visiting when you're not on LinkedIn.
Now, does LinkedIn get pissy about the fact that you're using a
VPN?
basically a private VPN?
Yes. Yeah. So they'll send you, they'll say, we don't recognize this location, and they'll send you an email verifying that it's you. Or
Yeah,
if you're using
two-factor authentication.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're using the two-factor, you have to go to the Google, get the coin, get your 6-digit number. But that's how they verify that it's you, which is good of them. But you can see which sessions you haven't logged out of on LinkedIn. So they keep you logged in until you log out. So it's kind of, in Canada probably would be illegal, but it's not, because you have to opt out. It's not an opt-in thing. So it's just one example of the hundreds of websites that do this. And for that's why you get catered, advertisements, and you talk about, needing shampoo, and then all of a sudden there's an ad for shampoo.
That really doesn't hurt me that much. I mean, it happens to me every day. I got to look at some
Then
shoes.
you're a commodity. Then you,
So what?
not being, I'm just saying, it's not a civil liberties thing. It's just, I choose to.
Okay, well, I'll just mention that Opera has a built-in VPN. Is that good? No?
No, I mean, how does Opera make money? If you can tell me how Opera makes money, I will agree with you.
Okay, but you can check
Give me
Opera.
the tool.
You
So
can check. It'll
how
show
does
you
Opera
what's my
make money?
VPN when you've got it on the VPN turned on when you're on Opera, and Google will show you a different one that you're in
It has
some
to
other
pass
city.
through their system, and then they share it. So Opera is still collecting your data, right?
Okay.
So you're the commodity. You're the
Okay.
product.
Even if you've got a VPN, your ISP still knows what you're doing, right?
Yeah. I mean, that at the end of the day is the only thing that's tethered. Like, you have to be able to, your phone internet provider knows who you are and what you're doing. There's no way around that.
Final question for me, and I'll give the other two guys a chance. Do you ever use emojis? Because there was a SourceCon answer question about it.
Emojis are great. I mean, it's a generational thing, but you can convey, pictures worth 1,000 words.
You use emojis in business email?
Yeah, I mean, daily. I mean, is it my first
email, in messaging on LinkedIn? Dude, I almost communicate better in GIF than I do in English.
Really? Wow. I'm shocked. I'm shocked, everybody.
I think I wouldn't, depending on your audience, know your audience, and know if is it right for the first message or the second message or the third. Usually I'm trying to be more humorous and just try to get them to respond by the second or third. So I'm going to be it's going to be a sliding scale of familiarity.
Okay, Srini, do you have a question a burning question that you'd like to ask Aaron before we sign off?
Absolutely, yeah. Coming to the LinkedIn thing, in fact, Aaron, is Nefarious still working? The Chrome extension, Nefarious?
Yeah, I mean, from what I heard, it still tracks which things are on their do not follow list, but it's inconsequential. They know, like I said, they know your IP, they know all your data, they know even if you're using multiple, IPs for different accounts. They know that how many millions of fake accounts there are. It's not, they're willing to if let's say that the storefront, they're willing to let you steal a 5-cent candy as long as you don't try to take the $50 steaks. You know,
Yeah.
Whatever that means. Okay. You can't fool LinkedIn. You can't fool LinkedIn pretty well. That's what you just said.
Their IT's better than most.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, I do use emojis and GIFs almost in every mail, almost in each of the outreaches that I do. Especially, in fact, I use those kind of GIFs which cannot go wrong. So in fact, common emojis like which cannot be taken
Can
in the
this
wrong
one
way.
go wrong? You know that one?
Probably not.
That's what I would use. Okay. That's why I don't use them. Michael
Hey,
G.
Aaron.
Cox.
Yeah,
The final question.
last question. Are you already using audible.com for books?
I do not.
Okay. I just sent you a message. So on LinkedIn, send me your email address, and I'll send you that book for free.
The confidence. Oh, really? Oh, isn't that nice? Okay. I'm not sending it to you for free. Hey, I didn't use, let me close off with but you guys have to stay for this. You don't have to stay if you don't want to, but I'm going to talk about Honeit, HONEIT.com. You see, because I haven't billed these guys in so long, I don't have to worry if I screw up. That feels so good. Honeit, HONEIT. It is the online interview technology. You call in to the website, your candidate calls in. Aaron doesn't have to worry because he doesn't talk to his candidates. And you have a conversation. You have a conversation and talk about privacy. Every word you say is recorded in video as well. And it's all turned into a searchable transcript. And everything can be passed on to anybody in the hiring committee. And if somebody is saying something important, like you ask a question of your candidate, hey, do you use emojis in your email? Before you ask that question, you press a button. And then when you're finished, he's finished or she's finished discussing it, you press another button. It creates a little clip. You send that to the hiring manager, Sreenivasa, all the way from Bangalore. First Indian on the show, as far as I know, calling from India. There's been Indians, okay, everybody. But not from India in the middle of the night. Thank you for calling. Michael G. Cox, as usual. He's the guest next week. And
Aaron, is that right?
Yeah. Aaron
I'm feeling
Lintz.
under the weather.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Aaron showed up. I'm very pleased. And you know what? We didn't get to many of the questions. And now you got my guidance. You have an idea how we work. Maybe you'd like to come back again. Can someone tell me, do I have to turn off the recording button? Since
No. As soon as you close the window, it'll start downloading your recording.
Okay, and I used to play the music. There's no more music or anything. I'll get used to that, everybody.
Do the scream.
What?
You do the scream. I don't know. Is that recorded? Is that part recorded?
Yeah.
Or is that the scream?
That's Jerry though, man. Jerry does the scream.
Oh, the scream. Oh, I can do that. I've got that. That's recorded. It is recorded. I've got that. I could.
Did Jerry get arrested at the White House the other day?
What?
Did Jerry get arrested?
Jerry called me. Listen to my best friends on in the recruiting community. Jerry called me just before the show and says, "No way he's coming. He's got to see that travesty taking place in Washington." He didn't use that word. And my good friend Maureen Scherer was also. I don't know if you saw what she posted. These guys aren't Trump voters, but I don't think they're Trump culties. They're Republicans. They're Republicans.
Difference of opinions. We all bleed purple.
That's right. Okay. Okay. And even though we live in different countries, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Aaron. Everybody. Bye-bye. And me.